The 2010s are about to come to a close, and it is also the decade in which people have officially declared rock dead. There have been countless articles and videos on YouTube talking about this, whether it's old rockers who are trying to reminisce on the great days, or trendy hip-hop heads who are verbally attempting to establish dominance. I've even talked about this topic multiple times on this channel. I will link to that in the description. Yes, even Helen Keller can see that hip-hop is the dominant music genre of the 2010s. But saying that rock was dethroned as the dominant music genre consumed throughout the world and saying that rock is dead are two very different things. Rock is very much, by any definition, still alive. There's tons of new music coming from very young bands who are innovating and progressing the genre forward. There are vocals and guitar riffs and guitar tones that could be considered iconic if rock was the mass-produced and mass-consumed genre of the day. Excellent, groovy, tasty drummers doing things that are accessible yet creative, and very memorable and singable melodies on many tracks. Don't believe me? I have 10 songs from some very underground bands that prove me right. These aren't even the biggest names in the underground right now. These are not old names that are trying to still hold on to that fame that they had when rock was the dominant genre. I have a show called Song Suggestion Friday. It takes place on Saturday. Long story. I receive far too many requests from people asking my opinion on a bunch of different bands, genres, songs, so I just turned it into content. And I have found so many new artists in many genres, but especially in rock and roll and metal through this show. There have been some amazing things happening that I didn't even know were going on until I started this show. Before we get into it, there is a high likelihood that this will be claimed for copyright since I will be using the music of each of these bands. Even though it is fair use, YouTube don't give a shit about that. You can support me on Subscribestar, link in the description. And if you like the video by the end of it, leave a like or leave a comment letting me know why you think rock isn't dead. Let's hop on into it. If I Mean When by the T Club. Full disclosure, these are friends of mine. You're probably going to hear me say that phrase a number of times today. That has less to do with the fact that I'm promoting my friends and more to do with the fact that being a music YouTuber online puts you in a position to be friends with a lot of people in this industry. This is a folk rock ballad that, in my opinion, perfectly encapsulates the current mood of Western society. It has very classic full production and timbres, very broad yet thick and clear.
There's a buzzing up above me, and I don't think it's a bee.
And an assured yet resigned chord progression and melody. Dan McGowan's vocals, both through excellently crafted melodies, but also through command of his vocal timbre and articulation, are able to pierce the hardest of hearts, while he's accompanied by a very simple yet elegant arrangement.
And again, what else is new? I say if I knew when.
Those of you who are very much into the old school rock and roll, the old school definition of what it means to be rock, this is a perfect band for you. Feathergun in the Garden of the Sun by Richelieu. As eerie and foreboding as it is raw and packed with energy. Longing verse melodies counterpointed by epically powerful chorus vocals featuring a very strong tenor voice.
I'm seeing bright lights, silhouettes of night fights, and I see it all. I see it all. I'm seeing bright lights in between the night fights, and I see it all.
This song has pounding guitar riffs throughout with great phrasing on those guitar riffs and multiple tempo and feel changes, especially in the bridge. And the drums groove with an aggressive hard rock attitude and tasty cymbal work. Sadly, as far as I know, this band is no longer together, but this is a hell of a good song. Energia by Ruskaya. Hailing from Austria, they inject some European sauce into the ska punk sound. Hands down, this song is just plain fun. Lots of fun. An ironically dirty, low voice delivering these very catchy vocal hooks, along with a lot of upbeat, driven rhythms. You will be yelling Energia every single chorus, I promise you.
Live overground.
Strong accents of the ska horn section throughout to broaden the soundscape. This is just an attitude-filled banger where you slug some beers back and you throw up the devil horns and you just say, hell yeah. Yet still a fun enough song that I think girls will be dancing to it. Dark Water by Agent Fresco. Atypical rhythmic accents with a relatable melodic phrasing and a hard-driven yet clean timbre palette. Hailing from Iceland, Arnar Arnarsson has a clean and pure vocal style that has that foreigner trying to sing English vibe that actually is reminiscent of Serj Tankian. It has an excellent chorus melody with a catchy and heartbreaking falsetto. Piano undergirds this track to help bring a type of sparkling clarity until the bridge of the song, where it gets this absolutely gorgeous feature. It just lets loose into what is the climax and just feels like your heart is exploding out of your chest. Needless to say, badass as hell. Death Wish by Red Sun Rising. A hard-driven early 2000s guitar riff is the very simple theme that eventually develops into almost 5 minutes of a very wild ride that goes many directions.
Life is fleeting by the slow. It chills us to the wave. It feeds me to the bone. And it's alright, unless you feel you're too late.
Powerful punk-inspired vocals that are backed by a groovy yet simple hard rock arrangement. For as simple as this theme is, for as simple as many of the individual instrument parts are, the way that they have developed this composition throughout the song and the way that they come to the denouement of the outro is excellent. They do a fantastic job of providing a lot of dynamic, both loudness-wise and also with their writing, while also keeping it digestible for the listener.
Life, it fits you like a glove, and you don't like the fit. So
With multiple fields and moods that span several genres, they maximize every second of that 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Gamma by Fujar or Fujar, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I know they're from Germany. This song exudes subtlety and a confident sensuality. It has a funk and 80s synth pop inspired arrangement featuring vocals that are both sultry and inviting.
Staring back in trance, barely moaning. The eyes creep over her face, holds her lonely.
Simple yet effective melodies throughout the song. The drums are a basic dance beat, but add tasty subtleties throughout the track to give it its own personality. Beautifully round and slightly driven funk guitar tone, and the characteristic dark 80s style synthesizer. This song could easily be played on the radio or played in the club. And you know what? It's rock and roll. Dynamo by A Notion of Silence. Full disclosure, these are friends of mine. 3 of the 4 members of this band also make up another band called Lines in the Sky. Go check them out as well. This song has an aggressive, assaulting main riff that has reprisals in the chorus, counterpointed by very ethereal verses.
I feel the force that drives the world beneath me, the beating heart, the pulse.
memorable vocal melodies throughout the song, sung clearly and powerfully by my buddy Jesse Brock. He has an intense tenor voice, kind of similar to Claudio Sanchez from Coheed and Cambria. Subtle ear candy from delay and verb-driven guitars, the auxiliary guitars, if you will, helps glue this whole track together. And an absolutely delicious bass tone with great phrasing on the bass.
This buried secret, the darkest spirit.
The song is killer. You gotta check it out. Stuck by Leprous. I would say this is probably the most well-known band on this list. Driving groovy riffs with a hard edge. Understated drum beats that really help bring out the magic of the music with ghost hits on the snare and tasty cymbal work, especially that hi-hat work. You do a freaking excellent job, my friend. That's Bård Kolstad for those of you who don't know. Einar's vocals are passionate and soaring. He knows how to write vocal melodies to maximize the potential of his vocal timbre. The chorus is absolutely infectious. And an outro that is a perfect culmination of the mood that was built throughout the track, adding strings in to further melt your heart. Leprous is a band that somehow manages to redefine themselves every album. And the fact that they aren't more famous is kind of mind-blowing to me. They could easily have many radio hits, without a doubt. Obey the Groove by No More Kings. This song features a dirty, fuzzy, beefy bass tone paired with a straight four-to-the-floor drum beat. Spanky, lightly driven guitar tone that adds a little bit of extra harmonic content and adds to the percussiveness of the track. The song is fun, this song is funky, this song is groovy, this song is sexy. The vocals have a light amount of dirt on them with some sultry croons and very memorable melodies.
Hang on tight, we'll push the speed of light. Obey the groove tonight, we'll make you move tonight.
You will obey the groove and you will be dancing when you check this track out. Hip Dipper by Arch Echo. Holy groovy shred, Batman. It's spanky, it's shreddy, it's tasty, it's proggy, it's jazzy, it's math rock goodness. The virtuoso level of each of these musicians is immense. Incredible groove with equally incredible melodic phrasing and articulation throughout the track. Just plain mind-blowing solos and electronic / old school synth flavors on the keys to add that little bit of techie vibe to the song. While probably a little bit more complicated than what the average audience would want to listen to on a daily basis, these guys are 1000% worth checking out. And further proof that this genre is still moving forward, and we're not stopping anytime soon. These are all undeniably great songs. Whether you like them or not, you're not gonna be able to tell me any of these are bad. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, that's not real rock and roll, you are part of the problem. Just because it's not how you pictured rock and roll progressing does not make it bad. Also does not make it not rock and roll. And just because this genre is progressing in many wide-ranging directions doesn't mean that the genre is dead. People who use Greta Van Fleet as an example that rock and roll isn't dead don't realize that ironically it provides more proof that it would be dead. A genre that's dead doesn't evolve, it doesn't change. And Greta Van Fleet is the best example of doing the same thing that somebody else did slightly differently. And by that, I mean they didn't completely rip off all their songs. Quickly for clarity, if you enjoy them, by all means, that is great. But they are not at all proof that rock and roll isn't dead. They are proof that there are still rock and roll fans who are alive. That's all that they're proof of. If you really want to help bring rock, or basically any genre other than the reductive, popularized hip hop that gets shoved down our throats all the time, if you want to bring actual genres with substance, artists with substance into visibility, you need to consume their music. It is our responsibility as fans to consume the music based upon this algorithmic business that music has been thrust into. It's our responsibility as fans to help get the word out. The more you mention it online, the more that the algorithm registers that. And it's our responsibility to support the artists that we love. Whether that is through helping them advertise by giving them a quick shout out, by consuming their music and sharing it with our friends, or by actually paying for stuff. I know, taboo nowadays. One of the ways that I do this is Song Suggestion Friday. That's not what the intent was of the show before, but now it's kind of turned into that a little bit. No, we don't just listen to rock and roll and metal on Song Suggestion Friday. I will take suggestions from any genre you want to throw at me. If you can imagine it, I will give it a shot. Come join us on Saturdays, live stream on Saturdays, even though it's called Song Suggestion Friday. Tell me about it in the comments. One quick announcement for those of you who made it this far into the video. My band will be playing a show in January that we are going to try and do some testing some things out on. It will be here in Nashville, and I want to launch an Eventbrite link so that you guys can get tickets in advance and attend. More details on that coming in the new year. If you want to keep up on that, you can follow my band Crusade on social media, links in the description. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching very much. Again, this video will be claimed, so I won't be making anything from it. Supporting me on Subscribestar is a huge help. And you can follow me, Become the Night, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Become the Night. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Rock on!